Well, hey everybody, it's James Snell from Media Vision Advertising, also CMO of NTI. To all you meeting leaders, today we're talking about how to create a group on Facebook. First, we're going to talk about literally the how-tos, whether you're on a computer or a mobile phone, and then we're going to talk about best practices. So the first step, how to create a Facebook group on a computer, is really simple. Click on Create up on the top right of Facebook and choose Group. It's the plus symbol. Pick a group type. Are you a club, a team, or something else entirely? We know that we are a networking group. So you click Business Group, which is in there. Choose a group name, ideally something that's easy to find. So I would highly recommend you do NTI and then where your meeting is located. Then you want it to be public and not private. And we'll talk about that more in a bit. My example as far as names, by the way, NTI Brentwood, NTI Mount Juliet, you get where I'm going. Add your group members. Pick your privacy preference, as we just talked about. Make public for NTI. That's the way to do that. And then click Create. You want to personalize your group with a cover photo and description. We already have NTI headers that are already set up for you. Just ask for it. Make sure you include your group's purpose and any rules, policies about behavior and membership. And I'll talk about that more when we get to best practices. So now let's talk about if you have on a phone. So on an iPhone specifically, creating a Facebook group goes like this. On your news feed, select the menu. There's 3 horizontal bars on the bottom right, then click Groups. Select Create New Group. Put in your group name. Again, same thing as above. Example, NTI Brentwood. Choose your privacy policy, which is public. Tap Create. Search and add your members. Personalize the group with the group cover, as we talked about, and then we're done. Very similar to the other process, right? So let's talk about an Android now. On an Android, tap the plus sign on the top right. Once you're in Facebook, of course, enter your group name, add your members, choose your privacy, tap Create. Same basic process. Again, personalize it with the cover and the description. Make sure that you put a little information in there on what your meeting is about. That will help too for search purposes. So let's talk about posting in your Facebook group. To post the Facebook group on your computer, and this can be for everybody, your members and yourself, select Groups in the left menu and click on your group. This is if you're doing it from your desktop. Click Write Something. From here, you can compose a post, share a video, photos, add a poll, create events, etc., etc., etc. You kind of get where I'm going. And then to post to a Facebook group on mobile, this is iPhone or Android, tap the menu icon, again, the 3 horizontal lines, bars, and then select Groups and click on your group. Tap Share Something or Write Something. From here, you can compose a post, share a video, share photos, etc., etc., etc. Keep it professional. Speaking of best practices, there are 10 steps here to consider. First one is you want to create a very clear code of conduct. Now, Rich DeForest and Brooke will be forwarding this list with you, but I'm going to give it to you here just so you have it as well. The bullet points are as follows. There'll be a point where you can create your code of conduct. I highly recommend this group by group. It keeps everybody on the same page in one vision. The first one is no solicitation. Second one is no self-promotion. The exceptions would be you can talk about events, community happenings, things that are for the good of the group, not just for the good of you. Common courtesy applies to everyone, of course. No talk of religion, politics, or divisive behavior. No poaching members. If you're a non-NTIer, or even if you're an NTIer, and you're trying to drag them over into another group, that's not really acceptable, and it will not be tolerated. Promoting other networking events is allowed, and we want you to do that. Chamber events, Toastmaster, BNI, whatever other things you're involved with, please talk about networking events because we're all here to help one another, but we are not here to steal from one another. There's a difference. Posts and comments should be kept professional and applied to networking. Don't sell yourself in here is really not the right place. This is a way for us to build one another up, help each other in business, educate one another. How do you give? Look at it from that perspective versus how do you take? No company or competitive bashing or negativity is permitted, meaning if you are upset at another member or a non-member and you start complaining about them publicly, it will not be tolerated. You'll either be pulled, first the post will be removed, and then you will be warned. And if you do it again, you'll be pulled, period. Complaints about fellow members should be handled directly, meaning go to them yourself. If you are a person of faith, read Matthew 18, you know all about that. NTI complaints to the president directly, who is Rich DeForest. If you have a complaint about NTI, go to Rich directly before talking to anybody else, and we'll see if we can solve the problem that way. That's your clear code of conduct. Moving on to number 2, post regular welcome messages. This is purely for meeting leaders. You want to be able to show your flavor here and how you run your meeting, and this is where your personality comes out a little bit and the culture of your specific meeting. It's a great way to get people on the same page with you before they even walk through the door for the first time. And it's a way for your members to turn around and say, hey, this is my group, and this is how we do things here. Of course, it's all NTI approved, and you all know that. Okay, number 3, engage consistently, but not too much. So define consistently, James. Well, you want to be able to post something, you want other people to engage. Posting every day becomes salesy. You want to, unless you have general information that is good for your group and for the people that are following as well, then only post things that are appropriate. Number 4 is schedule posts for peak times. We can talk about that more in detail one-on-one. If you like, reach out to me. But when you look at the analytics of your Facebook group, you'll be able to see when people are engaging and reading your posts and when they are not. Obviously, Fridays are always a good day to post. We don't like Mondays in general. Tuesdays, Wednesdays are great, depending on time of day, but it really is specific to the type of post that you're doing. Keep the content of your page, is number 4. Keep the content of your page and group unique, meaning it's not just generic information that you're copying and pasting. Otherwise, there's really no reason for us to be in that group. Make the group want to speak to each other about the things that you're talking about. Get them engaged. If you get them engaged, what happens is that group goes and say, hey, I'm in this group and we're talking about this topic. You may want to hear about it. You can even use your spotlight speakers as an example. Oh, so-and-so just spoke on this today in this topic. What do y'all think about that? And get them talking about the topic, just as one example. Number 6 is keep the bots and trolls out of your Facebook group by setting up a survey. The survey questions that we have come up with for you, very simple. There is a point that will give you the opportunity to create a questionnaire. Say yes. The questions we want you to do are, do you network? Are you a mole? Which is kind of a funny one. How much does 1 pound of feathers weigh? That was Rich DeForest. Where do you find a dog with no legs? Again, it's irrelevant. You want to come up with something else funny, like mine is, what is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? If you're a Monty Python person, your answer should be African or European. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then maybe you should get on board with Monty Python. So it doesn't really matter the questions. The point is they have to answer something before they get in. It keeps out some of the automatic stuff and keeps your Facebook group protected. Number 7 is edit down your membership list as needed. If you have a troublemaker in the group, obviously that would be the person to take out. If you have a person that leaves NTI, they would have to be taken out of that group because it is an NTI-based group. That is the concept of this. So use your discretion, but don't let it lag. That's something really important because it lets the whole group know that you're active. You're definitely managing the group. People understand that the trust will grow and people will learn to want to be in that group and want to speak more openly in there. That is the concept of this. And then number 8 is give them something special. Exclusive content, things that are relevant to your group. You can use some of the offers that NTI is giving you, the promos, the contests that we're doing, but the events that you do in your backyard, an example coming up would be the Thanksgiving luncheon. But there's things that throughout the year that different meetings will do from time to time. Those are things that are special and exclusive to you. That would be great because those are things that will be shared only within your group, and then those people will share it with others as well, hopefully. You can also do Q&A. on certain things, like a topic that might have been brought up by a spotlight speaker or something y'all learned from an educational thing that NTI has given you. Great way to get people talking and, again, increase engagement within the Facebook group. Number 9 is invite members from other platforms. The idea here is if you've got fans hanging out in other corners of the internet, whether it's other platforms being Instagram, Twitter, et cetera, you want to invite them in as well. So this is not really a you thing. This is your members. You want them and their circle of influence to consider hearing more about the group. That's why it's so important to have unique content to you, to keep the bad things out, and to make it as positive an experience as possible, because those potential members come in, they're interested before they even walk through your door. It's a great way to grow your specific meeting as meeting leaders. And number 10, finally, is don't just set it and forget it. If you set up this big, beautiful Facebook group and you sit back fat and happy, I guarantee it will fail. This is an ongoing thing. Even if it's just month to month and you're doing it occasionally, you can post more often, but you have to get in there and look at what's working, what's not working, if somebody's saying something bad. It has to be managed. If you're not doing that, it will fail. So please adhere to all of these best practices. If you have any questions at all or complications, you can freely reach out to me at jamesd@mediavisionadvertising.com. Y'all have a great day and happy networking. Thank you very much.